Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. You don't want to call up. Really, your kids will hate you if you knew about it and didn't buy it. They'll hate you so much and think you're a legend if you sacrificed and didn't buy that expensive car but instead bought a whole coin, because that coin is going to be worth $10 million, I mean, it's all clear to me. Still, most people are asleep at the switch and don't see it or can't buy it because of their views. I really don't see how we won't be at 100,000 by the end of 2024. We'll be going 200 to 300K faster this time. If you knew about Bitcoin but didn't buy it when it was new, these days your children and grandchildren may not like it. They would think you were a hero though, if you were able to get 0.1 Bitcoin or even a whole Bitcoin or more. Why? Because it is expected that Bitcoin will be worth $10 million each. This is one of the things I learned from talking to Lepard recently. There is a link to the full conversation in the description below. It can be found on the Crypto Nutshell channel. Larry and I talked about his current thoughts on Bitcoin, why he thinks it will reach $300,000 per coin this cycle, and why he thinks it will finally reach $10 million per coin. Besides that, we talk about whether investors have missed the boat and how Bitcoin is like the early internet. Use the first link in the description to watch the whole talk. Let's start right away with Larry Lepard. A question we get a lot in our email comes from people who feel like they're late to Bitcoin. It used to be a big deal to own one whole Bitcoin, but now the goal is to reach 0.1 Bitcoin because the cost of life is going up and people can't afford to put as much money away. What would you tell early buyers or people who are new to Bitcoin who think they missed the boat? No one seems to have missed the boat. I mean, I feel like we're still very new. It's going to 10x twice. So if you're an investor, you don't want to miss something that's going to go up 100x or even 1,000x in 15, 20, or even 30 years. So I don't think that amount will be useful in point one. To be clear, being a whole coiner will be a huge deal in a few years. So I don't think you missed the boat. Actually, I believe you need to know what's going on and how this can keep getting more valuable over time. You brought up Microsoft as an example, but I told that story in Madeira when I was on stage with Sailor Lynn and Preston. And I bought Microsoft stock for 6 cents, which is what it's worth now before the split. Now, the stock is worth hundreds of dollars, so it was about 4,300 times your money, right? It's really crazy. As you know, I bought it in 1986 or 1987 when they first went on the market. I sold it a few years later to buy a house because I had made money on it. I had made 3 shows and was a good investor, but I needed the cash to move. And I'm not really mad about that choice. I'm mad that I didn't sell 2/3 of it and keep 1/3. That is, if you don't find the other third somewhere else, it's likely that I could have found it. I could have done something else. I could have gotten the other third, but whatever. I think the key is that people don't understand how valuable it is to add something up at 20, 30, or 40% a year for a number of years. In other words, this is how great riches are made. So yeah, this is a really special asset, just like Microsoft was a really special asset. In a way, they had the system for running PCs, and PCs were about to stop being expensive toys that, took the place of a typewriter or a Wang word processor and became something that everyone had 6 of in their homes. And every single one of them that ran Microsoft software needed their product. That being said, Apple did come along and offer an option. But the point is that, it was just, and that's what's going to happen here. In other words, everyone will need Bitcoin, and it will be the normal form of money for the next 1,000 years. So it's kind of like, Jesus, here you are, you have the chance to buy something that could last hundreds or even thousands of years. You're still not too late. You're not really too late. So my advice is to buy what you can, forget about the rest, and enjoy the fact that you'll get richer and richer in Bitcoin terms as Bitcoin replaces fiat money more and more, because it's a much better form of money. That's the thing, that is. Some people think it's all a scam or that internet money is magic, or it's not any of those things. This is the first time that digital scarcity can be proven to exist. It is a technological creation. So, I love how Sailor has talked about how things change the world and you can't go back. In fact, he just recently talked about how, with the perfect clock, we were able to set the ship's clocks to a certain time, which let them use a sextant to look at the stars and figure out where they were and how to get around. I've been to the Greenwich Mean Academy or the Greenwich Mean Station in London, where they did this. So all of a sudden, guidance worked. In the same way that optics made it possible to see the stars better, which shattered Copernican ideas about how the stars and the Earth move around each other. All of a sudden we understood that we were going around the sun instead of the other way around. So, the printing press comes out. Could you have imagined that the church would fall, that everyone would be able to read, that we'd have libraries and the internet where you could get any information right away from anywhere in the world? No, you really can't see these things coming, but here we are making a type of money that fixes the biggest problem that all money has had for thousands of years. It has become worthless. There is no money. The value of something hasn't gone down in thousands of years. Not even gold. Gold grows at 1.7% per year, so in 40 years there will be twice as much gold on the world. In the US, cash has grown at about 7 or 8% a year since 1971. That's not as safe, but money has been losing value for thousands of years. Bitcoin just fixed that problem. Holy took care of it totally, Oh my God, what do you think? Once we make that happen, the world will look very different. Okay, and the question that everyone has is, what does that mean the world is going to look so different? Also, I don't even know, I'm sure the internet went in directions I could never have imagined. For example, could I have imagined that I would do all my shopping on Amazon and have it delivered to my house in, less than a day? No, I didn't see that coming. Do you understand what I mean? When I bought dial-up internet, I had no idea that was going to happen. Yet I was sure that emailing people on the other side of the world would be helpful. So I put money into it, right? Also, do we know how Bitcoin will change and be used in the future? No, we don't. We do know, though, that Bitcoin stops money from losing value. And that has been a huge problem for people for a very long time. So we just figured it out. Okay then, I'm going to bet on that. Over time, I think that free-thinking people like you, me, and everyone else who has accepted Bitcoin will all look at it and come to the same conclusion. What this fixes the issue of money losing its value. That sounds good to me. That works. Yes, let's use that. I know that fiat is just ST because it can get weakened, so why would I ever price something in it? I'm not really going to get my money back. I'd like to be paid back in Bitcoin. I think it's hard for people to understand that, but I think once you do, there's no going back. I think your group will look back and think I wasn't joking about it. You could say, so the price of capital is the most important thing. In other words, capitalism is based on making things more efficient and productive, right? That's what Adam Smith taught us. Supply and demand, The baker makes everyone's life better because he bakes bread and pays the farmer for the wheat. The buyer then pays the farmer and so on. So, specialization and output efficiency are what have made the world rich. Not growth, as Keynes would say, or animal spirits or anything like that. It's efficiency. Okay, how much money costs? That's why efficiency is reached by spending money on the right things that make things more productive. With the cotton machine, you could pick 5 pounds of cotton in a day. When the gin came along, it could spin 50 pounds of cotton every day. That means it works 10 times better for one person. That's why you want speed. And to be efficient, you need to put your money into the right things. So it was clear that buying the cotton gin was a good idea. It's faster, better, and cheaper to make these things. Okay, so basically, if you want to get the most out of your money, you need to put in the right things. The price of the money has to be right. Setting the cost of money to zero through ZERP is illegal because then anyone can borrow money for free. They invest in businesses that make things. And that's the reason why everyone but the millionaires pays too much.